My hopes were that I'd make friends and that I'd like people, and those have definitely been met. And I guess on the flip side, my fears were just that I'd end up not really connecting with anyone in the house. But I think St. Hilda's house draws very cool. I don't know. Cool is not necessarily the right word. Very interesting, thoughtful, and just fun people. So I've been very happy with the connections that I've made in the house.
I think my biggest hope would be that I would learn something that I didn't know I needed to learn, if that makes sense. And I didn't have an appreciation of how important communal prayer was before I came here. I didn't have an appreciation of how important really listening to other people was before I came here. I didn't have an appreciation of how amazingly different it really is possible to be from the same basic standpoint, and how wonderful it is to live in that difference with other people. So I think my hopes were met on that front, and in terms of fears, I was just afraid that I completely messed the whole thing up, and I'm still here 3 years later, so either I really have messed it up or it went alright. So,
My biggest hopes in coming into community had to be about the academically engaging community of Yale University, and it also had to be about learning theology. I don't have an undergraduate in theology. I never studied theology academically, and I just felt it was something that I was extremely interested in. And my biggest hope was being in a community of intellectual thinkers, and this is exactly what I wanted to find, and I received that here. My biggest fear of living in community is that I don't like to share. I'm so sorry. I really don't like to share, and I felt that I would have to be a little selfish girl, but I wasn't. I've learned to share from living in community. I don't like to share, but I do now. I do.
Personally, I didn't have many hopes or fears. I'm the type of person who, in an experience that I don't know what to expect, I try to limit expectations as much as possible, so I can just live the experience as it comes, and not be upset if something doesn't go my way, or not get too down if something's not what I expected it to be. And that makes the highs higher. It makes the lows easier to deal with. And I think as long as you keep a level head and don't try to expect too much out of a community, the limits are endless in what the benefits are going to be for your year.
Well, I would say my biggest hopes have been met. I wanted to meet interesting people, share a life with people, have meaningful work, and discern next steps, and all of that has happened. My biggest fears were just that the work would be kind of overwhelming, and that I would kind of burn out, and also, that New Haven would prove to be not the best place to live. And New Haven has been great, so that fear hasn't been borne out. I've had struggles with my work. My work can be frustrating, especially the first year. I felt there were a lot of demands placed on me. I worked in refugee resettlement, which is a tough field to enter. So to some degree, my fears about the work panned out, but I survived, and I grew and gained through all that struggle. But certainly my hopes, I am a much fuller person having done 2 years in community, and I would encourage anyone who even thinks it might be something they want to do to give it serious thought.